Hello, Dark Reader, and welcome to the Dark Side of the Library podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and with me is my co-host, Carrie.
Hello.
Today, we are going to be talking about all of the brand new dark and spooky adult fiction that's coming out in November of 2023. Just a reminder, we have not read any of these yet. We're just presenting you with some cool ones that we found that will keep you busy during the holiday season and beyond, of course. We can't read all of these. Well, maybe you can read all of these within the holiday season. Carrie, why don't you start us off with a cool book? I'm really excited about it.
There's a book coming out that's inspired by the famous, weird Voynich manuscript, where this person back in the day created all these artistic images of creatures that don't really exist, or did they? And plants that we don't really have in our world, and it's magical, and they use this freaky font, and cryptographers have been studying it, and we don't know much about it. So this book, The Book of Eve, is a beguiling historical feminist tale inspired by the undeciphered Voynich manuscript. So the
cool.
author is Meg Clothier, and the front of the book is very botanical, and there's a waning moon, and there's a bird and some plants and a little weird font. It says, "The Book of Eve, its pages hide an ancient secret. The truth could cost her life." Very dramatic.
Yes.
So the publisher is Wildfire. So Beatrice is the convent's librarian, and for years she shunned the company of her sisters, finding solace only with her manuscripts. Then, on one carnival night, two women are bleeding and stricken, and they're abandoned outside the convent's walls. Moments from death, one of them presses something into Beatrice's hands, a bewitching book whose pages have a dangerous life of their own. But men of the faith want the book destroyed, and that happens a lot throughout the centuries.
Yes.
And a zealous preacher has tracked it to her door. Her sisters' lives or her obsession, Beatrice must decide. The book's voice is growing stronger. An ancient power uncoils. Will she dare to listen? Ooh, I have goosebumps.
That's so cool.
That's The Book of Eve by Meg Clothier.
My first book is a part of a big fantasy saga. It is called the Soulfire Saga, Book 1. This is called The Darkness Before Them. It is by Matthew Ward, and it comes out November 7th. It is about a dangerous immortal king. Souls fuel magic, which is already pretty dark and awesome. And there's this supernatural mist that's known as the Veil, threatens to engulf the land. I think I've read this book before. I mean, this is definitely a little tropey, but I'm kind of excited about it because we have this kingdom called Kalad, or Kalad. There's these magical mists of the Veil that are devouring the land slowly. The populace struggles beneath the rule of the ruthless noble houses and their uncaring immortal king. Our main character, Kat, does not care about any of that. They are a talented thief, and she's pursuing one big score that will settle the debt that has destroyed her family. It's not an easy feat in a realm where indentured spirits hold vigil over every vault and treasured room, and treasure room. Wow. I know. I kind of like that we have these lost spirits guarding things. However, Kat has a unique gift. She can actually speak to those spirits and even command them. She'll need every advantage she can get. She's not really a hero. She just wants to be free, to have her old life back. But as rebellion rekindles and the war for Kalad's future begins, everyone, including Kat, will have to pick a side. I kind of like this. It's a very short description, but we kind of get an essence of what the world looks like, and I'm very intrigued by it. This is called The Darkness Before Them. This is book 1 of the Soulfire Saga and is by Matthew Ward.
My next book is called The Fascination. It's by Essie Fox. The publisher is Orenda Books. It features the estranged grandson of a wealthy collector of human curiosities who becomes fascinated with a set of teenage twin sisters, leading them into a web of dark obsessions. It's a dark gothic novel, and her previous one was The Somnambulist. So it's set in Victorian England, a world of rural fairgrounds and glamorous London theaters. a world of dark secrets and deadly obsessions. This sounds like my kind of book. So twin sisters Keziah and Tilly Lovell are identical in every way except that Tilly hasn't grown a single inch since she was 5.
Oh.
They're coerced into promoting their father's quack elixir as they tour the country fairgrounds. And at the age of 15, the girls are sold, that's rude, to a mysterious Italian known as Captain. So meanwhile, enter Theo, who's an orphan that's been raised by his grandfather, Lord Seabrook, a man who has a dark interest in anatomical freaks and other curiosities, especially the humankind. He resents his grandson for his mother's death in childbirth. That's not fair. It's not his fault. And he remarries and produces a new heir, so Theo has to leave home without a penny to his name. Rude. Theo, of course, finds employment in Dr. Somerwell's Museum of Anatomy in London, and that's where he meets Captain and his theatrical family of performers, including the twins. And Theo is fascinated with them, and that will lead them all into a web of deceits, exposing the darkest secrets and threatening everything they know. Dun dun dun! That sounds good. I'm going to pick up a copy. That's The Fascination by Essie Fox. It comes out November 28th.
My next book is called The Fiction Writer. This is by Jillian Cantor, and it comes out November 28th. The once rising literary star, Olivia Fitzgerald, is down on her luck. Her most recent novel is a retelling of Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, and it was a flop. Not only this, her boyfriend of 9 years just dumped her. She's battling a bad case of writer's block, which is understandable because those two things are pretty big.
Yeah.
So her agent calls her with a high-paying ghostwriting opportunity, and Olivia is very eager, so she, signs the NDA right away. At first, the write-for-hire job seems too good to be true, because it is. All she has to do is interview Henry, quote, Asherwood, who's a reclusive mega-billionaire, twice named People's Sexiest Man Alive.
Oh, well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he wants her to help in writing a book that reveals a shocking secret about his late grandmother and Daphne du Maurier. But when Olivia arrives at his Malibu estate, nothing is as it seems. The more Olivia digs into his grandmother's past, the more questions she has. And before she knows it, she's trapped in a gothic mystery of her own. This book cover is a little deceptive because it's purple and kind of bright. Definitely that Malibu air, but it is very gothic themed, so it's kind of wigging me out a little bit, but it sounds fun. I love suspenseful thrillers like this. So this is The Fiction Writer. This is by Jillian Cantor.
My next book is called The Gathering. It's by Lisa Stone, and it's a crime thriller mystery. Now it's coming out in paperback on November 7th, which is yesterday. But the publisher is HarperCollins, and they always come out with good thrillers, and I am so up for a page-turner right now.
Yeah.
So after 10 years, Sarah and her husband, Roshan, are looking forward to catching up with their closest school friends. Oh, that's nice. One of them invites the group to spend a week in a beautiful converted church. Oh, lovely. They eagerly accept. But very quickly, Sarah becomes unsettled. She's frightened by the church's creepy surroundings, and she thinks she might be seeing ghosts. Well, she probably is.
Yay.
Even more disturbing, a masked woman is committing armed robberies in the area, and the police can't catch her.
I love that.
And Sarah and the others who have gathered in this converted church by the beach, I think, I don't know, they're having frightening visions, and the armed woman strikes again. The group of friends begin to wonder just what they got themselves into. So this is a perfect book for, it's been a long work day. My brain has been working all day. I just want to settle into something I don't have to think about very hard, but I want to find out what's happening. And I love the tagline of The Gathering. It says, "You're not always safe among friends." It's so true. It's prescient. So this is The Gathering by Lisa Stone, and it comes out November 7th.
Oh, My next book is The Ghosts of Beatrice Bird, and it comes out November 21st. This is by Louisa Morgan. Oh,
yes!
You're excited.
I'm freaking out.
So Beatrice Bird is haunted by ghosts, a gift she's had since she was a small child. Unfortunately, it's an ability that now has grown more intense, shifting from flashes and feelings to physical manifestations she can't escape. In a desperate attempt to find relief, Beatrice flees her home, her partner, and her psychology practice in San Francisco for a remote island with only nuns and a few cows for company. Cows do make good company. They're so cute. So Beatrice doesn't call home. She sees as few people as she possibly can. Then she meets Anne, a timid woman who has lost everything that matters to her. For the first time in a long time, Beatrice's gift will be called on to help someone in need, but the ghosts have taken on an even darker edge, and there is something sinister lurking in the shadows. Beatrice may not be enough to stop what's coming for them. Poor Anne! I wonder why she's dragging these sinister shadows with her. So this is The Ghosts of Beatrice Bird. This is by Louisa Morgan. This sounds really fun.
Do you know why I'm so excited about this book?
I don't. Oh, wait. Is it because this is the author of A Secret History of Witches?
Yes. And The Witch is Kind, and The Age of Witches, and The Great Witch of Brittany. And it seems like she's finally taking a break from witchy topics.
On to ghosts. Even better. Especially for the spooky season. So definitely check that out.
Definitely picking that up.
Woo.
My next book is called Girl Among Crows. It's by Brendon Vayo. It comes out November 7. It says, beware the Brotherhood of the Raven. When two boys vanish from her hometown, Daphne notices uncanny parallels to her own brother's disappearance 30 years earlier. All of a sudden, symbols of an ancient Norse god and rumors of a promise to reward the town's faithful with wealth and power, but it comes with a price. She warns her husband that another sacrifice is imminent, but just like last time, nobody believes her. This leaves her with a desperate choice: investigate with limited resources, or give in to the FBI's request for an interview. For years, they've wanted a member of the Gage family to go on record about the tragedy back in 1988. But if she agrees to a deposition now, Daphne must confess her family's dark secrets. But she might have just one last chance to unmask the killer from back then and now. That's Girl Among Crows by Brendon Vayo.
So I have two books. So my first one is called Good Girls Don't Die. It comes out November 14. That's a lie, by the way. And this is by Christina Henry. This is a twisty thriller about three women who find themselves trapped inside stories they know aren't their own, which sounds interesting. We have Celia, who wakes up in a house that's supposed to be hers. There's a little girl who claims to be her daughter and a man who claims to be her husband, but Celia knows that this is not her life or her family. We have Allie, who is supposed to be on a fun weekend trip, but then her friend's boyfriend unexpectedly invites the group to a remote cabin in the woods. No one else believes Allie, but she is sure that something about this trip is very, very wrong. And then our third person, Maggie, just wants to be home with her daughter, but she's in a dangerous situation and she doesn't know who put her there or why. She'll have to fight with everything she has to survive. We have three ladies, three stories, and only one way out. This is a captivating novel that will keep readers guessing until the very end. I'm also curious. I don't know how they're tied together. So this is Good Girls Don't Die by Christina Henry. Then my second one that I wanted to bring up, I know Nora Roberts does romance. That's her thing. But this one is like a haunted romance. It is called Inheritance, the Lost Bride Trilogy.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we have a graphic designer, Sonia. She is stunned to learn that her late father had a twin he never knew about. and that her newly discovered uncle Colin Poole has left her almost everything he owned, including a majestic Victorian house on the Maine coast, which the will stipulates she must live in it for at least 3 years. But why?
Yeah,
So
that's weird.
Her engagement recently broken. She sets off to find out why the boys were separated at birth and why it was kept a secret until a genealogy website brought it to light. Trey, the young lawyer who greets her at the sprawling clifftop manor, notes Sonia's unease and acknowledges that, yes, this place is actually haunted, but only a little bit. Sure enough, Sonia finds objects moved and music playing out of nowhere. She sees a painting by her father inexplicably hanging in her deceased uncle's office, and a portrait of a woman named Astrid, whom the lawyer refers to as, quote, the first lost bride. It's becoming clear that Sonia has inherited far more than a house. She has inherited a centuries-old curse and a puzzle to be solved if there is any hope of breaking it. I thought this was interesting because this is by Nora Roberts. Big Nora Roberts.
Yeah.
She's doing like a kind of a spooky family haunted for generations kind of book. This is called the Lost Bride Trilogy, so we have 2 other books coming out too, but check this one out.
It's good to have something to look forward to.
Yeah, so I'm excited. This sounds interesting. What is next for you, Carrie?
The Kingdom of Sweets, a novel of the Nutcracker. It's by
yes.
Erika Johansen. Light and dark, this is the cursed birthright placed upon Clara and Natasha by their godfather, Drosselmeyer, what a terrible name, whose power and greed hold an entire city in his sway. Charming Clara, the favorite, grows into a life of beauty and ease, while Natasha is relegated to her sister's shadow, ignored and unloved. Aww, some of us know what that's like.
I know.
Natasha seizes the opportunity for revenge one Christmas Eve, when Drosselmeyer arrives at the family gala with the Nutcracker, an enchanted gift that offers entry into an alternate world, the Kingdom of Sweets. Following Clara into the glittering land of snow and sugar, Natasha discovers a source of power far greater than Drosselmeyer, the Sugar Plum Fairy, who offers her own wondrous gifts and chilling bargains. But as Natasha uncovers the truth about a dark destiny crafted long before her birth, she must reckon with forces both earthly and magical, human and diabolical, and decide to which world she truly belongs. I am rooting for Natasha, that is for sure.
Yeah.
The publisher is Dutton. The book is The Kingdom of Sweets, and it's by Erika Johansen.
Perfect Christmas novel. Spooky Christmas novel. My next book is MaCoven. This comes out it did come out November 7th, and this is by Doc Jacobs. Maddie has had enough of seeing good people stomped underfoot by the uncaring, the self-centered, the corrupt, and the flat-out evil. Don't we all? I'm tired of it too. Why does it feel like so many bad people get away with their crimes without ever paying the consequences? In her search for answers about whether the concept of karma really exists and how religious ideas of heaven, hell, and purgatory all work together, she meets a kindred spirit in Michelle. Together they stumble upon a world of witchcraft specifically designed to punish those who sin against the innocent. This group, known as MaCoven, I hate this name. I wish they came up with something else. So MaCoven recruits the girls and trains them to use their innate sense of right and wrong to dispense a powerful dose of poetic justice. Dan, an accidental witness to MaCoven's powers, gets the opportunity to explore purgatory and watch as the coven members apply the particular brand of an eye for an eye. But can karma be changed? Can evildoers ever see the error of their ways and become good people?
No.
I know.
I already know how it ends. No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody dies. MaCoven takes the discussion of crime and punishment, action and consequence, and retributive justice to a different realm of magic. So this is MaCoven. This is by Doc Jacobs. This is published by Kohler Books.
My next book is The Manor House Governess. It's a novel by C.A. Castle. The publisher is Alcove Press, who I don't think I've heard of, and this came out yesterday on November 7. It has a gender-fluid protagonist and a 21st century twist. It's
Ooh.
paying homage to the British classics while joyfully centering on an LGBTQ+ point of view. So, orphaned young and raised with chilly indifference at an all-boys boarding school, Bronte Ellis has grown up stifled by rigid rules and social norms, forbidden from expressing his gender identity. His beloved novels and period films lend an escape until a position as a live-in tutor provides him with a chance to leave St. Mary's behind. Greenwood Manor is the kind of elegant country house that Bron has only read about, and amid lavish parties and cricket matches, the Edwards family welcomes him into the household with true warmth. Mr. Edwards and the young Ada, Bron's pupil, accept without question that Bron's gender presentation is not traditionally masculine. Only Darcy, the eldest son, seems uncomfortable with Bron. The two of them couldn't be more opposite. When a tragic fire blazes through the estate's idyllic peace, Bron begins to sense dark secrets smoldering beneath Greenwood Manor's surface. Channeling the heroines of his cherished paperbacks, he begins to sift through the wreckage. Soon, he's not sure what to believe, especially with his increasing attraction to Darcy clouding his vision. So this book draws energy and inspiration from Charlotte Bronte, Jane Austen, E.M. Forster, and more. It sounds very good. That's The Manor House Governess by C.A. Castle.
My next book is Mr. Lullaby. This is by J.H. Markert, and it comes out November 21st. So, the small town of Harrod's Reach has seen its fair share of macabre, especially inside the decrepit old train tunnel around which the town was built. After a young boy, Sully Dupree, is injured in the abandoned tunnel and left in a coma, the townspeople are determined to wall it up. Deputy Sheriff Beth Gardner is reluctant to buy into the superstitions until she finds two corpses at the tunnel's entrance, each left with strange calling cards inscribed with old lullabies. Oh, I don't like that. It is creepy. Soon after, Sully Dupree briefly awakens from his coma. Before falling back into his slumber, Sully manages to give his older brother a message. Sully's mind, since the accident, has been imprisoned on the other side of the tunnel in, La La Land. A grotesque and unfamiliar world inhabited by evil mythical creatures of sleep. Sully is trapped there with hundreds of other coma patients, all desperately trying.
I'm sorry.
I was trying.
I'll mute myself. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. All desperately fighting to keep the evils of the dream world from escaping into the waking world. At least I guess they have something to do while they're in their coma. I don't know. So elsewhere, a man troubled by his painful youth has for years been hearing a voice in his head he calls Mr. Lullaby. And he has finally started to act on what that voice is telling him. To kill any coma patient he can find. And quickly.
Oh, jeez.
Something is waking up in the tunnel. Something is trying to get through. And Mr. Lullaby is coming. Oh, so this is Mr. Lullaby. This is by J.H. Markert.
I just love the idea that this guy is compelled to kill people in a coma. And here's this nice warehouse full of them for you.
We just store them all in the same place in their comatose. Oh my god.
All right. To get more serious, the next book is going to be huge. Everyone is talking about it already. It's The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. It actually came out on October 31, but it's so important, we're going to talk about it again.
Yes.
It's set in Gracetown, Florida in June 1950. 12-year-old Robbie Stevens Jr. is sentenced to 6 months at the Gracetown School for Boys, a reformatory, for kicking the son of the largest landowner in town in defense of his older sister Gloria. Well, it sounds like the guy had it coming. Mm-hmm. So begins Robbie's journey further into the terrors of the Jim Crow South and the very real horror of the school they call the reformatory. Robbie has a talent for seeing ghosts, or haints. But what was once a comfort to him after the loss of his mother has become a window to the truth of what happens at the reformatory. Boys who are forced to work to remediate their so-called crimes have gone missing. But the hints that Robbie sees hint at worse things. Through his friends Redbone and Blue, Robbie is learning not just the rules, but how to survive. Meanwhile, Gloria is rallying every family member and connection in Florida to find a way to get Robbie out before it's too late. Oh, it's a haunting work of historical fiction written by Tananarive Due, who is in the Pacific Northwest, just like me and Katie, local famous author. That's The Reformatory by Tananarive Due, and it came out on Halloween.
My next book is another part of the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series.
How many are there now?
30. So I thought that we did the last one, number 29, and I swear it said it was the final installment, but I feel like this is becoming a thing. This one's called Slay. This is by Laurel K. Hamilton. This is another part of Anita Blake's story. I am unfamiliar with Anita Blake, but she apparently this whole thing is amazing. There's so many books out there, so I imagine people are very excited about this next one in the whole series. I don't know if I want to talk about the whole description of the story because there's 30 books. So if you wanted to get started, you want to go with one. You don't want to know what happens in book 30. So check out the whole Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series. Maybe I should, just because, at least try number 1. So this one's coming out November 7th. If you've been looking forward to book 30, it says book 30 of 30. So maybe this is the final book. This one's Slay, and this is by Laurel K. Hamilton.
My next book is called The Star and the Strange Moon. It's by Constance Sayers. The publisher is Red Hook. Comes out November 14. It features a vanished star, a haunted film, and a mystery that only love can unravel. 1968, Gemma Turner once dreamed of stardom. Now the actress is on the cusp of obscurity. When she's offered the lead in a radical new horror film, she believes her luck has changed, but her dream is about to turn into a nightmare.
Of course.
One night, between the shadows of an alleyway, Gemma disappears on set and is never seen again. Yet Gemma is alive. She's been pulled into the film, and the script and the monsters within it are coming to life. Gemma must play her role perfectly if she hopes to survive. Now, flash forward to 2007, Gemma Turner's disappearance is one of Hollywood's greatest mysteries, one that's captivated film student Christopher Kent ever since he saw La Étrange Lune for the first time. The screenings only happen once a decade, and each time there is new, impossible footage of Gemma that shouldn't exist. Curiosity drives Christopher to unravel the truth, but answers to the film's mystery may leave him trapped by it forever. This sounds so good!
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to pick up a copy of The Star and the Strange Moon by Constance Sayers.
I really like the title, too.
Yeah.
Usually, that doesn't correlate together, like a cool title and then, Anyway, this is cool. My next book is Tonight I Burn. This is a part of the Thorn Witch trilogy. It's book 1. This is by Catherine J. James, and it came out November 7th. So a thorn witch with the power to walk between the realms of life and death finds herself at the center of a magical rebellion. Thorns, tides, embers, storms, and oars. All 5 covens are bound in servitude to the tyrant High Warden of Hallstatt. Penny Albright is the daughter of the Thorn Coven, forced to patrol the veil between the realms of life and death. Each night, one thorn witch, and only one, must cross the veil by burning at the stake. Each morning, I know.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I would rather be a tides witch, thank you. Each morning, that witch draws on their magic to return. Failure to follow the rules risks the veil and risks them all. But one morning, Penny's favorite sister Ella doesn't return, and that night, determined to find her, Penny breaks the rules. She burns in secret, and she discovers that all isn't as it seems in life or death. Her journey leads her to Malin, a devastating lord with too many secrets. to Alice, a mysterious captive prophet, and to a rebellion brewing in the shadows beneath the city. And as Penny's world splits, she'll face a devastating choice, because it's not just her sister's life that hangs in the balance, it's the fate of all magic. I'm interested in this. I like, I don't know, I like categories for witches. I think it's kind of fun, and this sounds really cool. So this is the Thorn Witch Trilogy, Book 1, Tonight I Burn, by Catherine J. Adams.
My next book isn't super dark, but I hope you'll indulge me and let me add it in here. It's a treasury of folklore, stars and skies. It comes out November 14 from a publisher called Batsford. Love the name.
Yeah.
It's a sequel to the Treasury of Folklore, Seas and Rivers, and the Woodlands and Forests. So this is Treasury of Folklore, Stars and Skies, an exploration of the mysteries of the stars, skies, and heavens above. People have gazed up at the same stars for millennia, creating stories about them, conjuring gods and goddesses, and mapping the constellations, and navigating the complex human world below. We're going to learn about Icarus, the Greek myths surrounding the constellations and the omen of meteors, the trials of the Hawaiian goddess Hina, and the legend of the rabbit in the moon. In Skies, we're introduced to winged Pegasus and the trials of the Firebird, the Witch of Westray and stories of storms, the mysteries of the Northern Lights, and unexplained UFOs. That is really cool sounding. It would be great for a reference book on your shelf if you're a writer. That's The Treasury of Folklore, Stars and Skies by Willow Winsham, with illustrations by Joe McLaren.
That sounds very, very cool. My next book is called The 12 Days of Murder. Perfect for Christmas time.
Merry Christmas.
This is by Adriana Cordani. 12 years ago, ooh, I like that we have 12 as our sacred number. 12 years ago, 8 friends ran an exclusive group at university, the Masquerade Murder Society.
Oh, how lovely.
I know. The mysteries they solved may have been grisly and brilliantly staged, but they were always fictional until their final Christmas masquerade, of course.
Whoa. I got scared.
Oh, scary. When one of the group members disappeared, never to be seen again. Now, our young, privileged cast of old university friends are summoned to the depths of Scotland for a Christmas-themed masquerade party. But all are hiding something deep below the surface that could make or break their careers. Charlie is a struggling actress who has always been on the periphery of this high-flying group, but has decided to reunite with her frenemies on the promise of career help if she joins the old cast for one weekend. I don't think I would do that, though. I mean, I wouldn't. When they arrive, each is assigned a new identity themed around the 12 days of Christmas. They become Lady Partridge, or Mr. Gold, Lord Leapworth, or Dr. Swan. I kind of like this. The game begins, and it feels just like old times, until the next morning when Lady Partridge is found hanging dead from the pear tree.
Oh, crap.
This is
that was
hilarious.
oddly specific. Pear tree.
I know. It's so
just say
good.
A tree. Jeez.
It quickly becomes clear that in this game, the murder will be all too real, and the story is bringing long-hidden secrets to the surface. Will Charlie's discerning eye and outsider status allow her to uncover the truth, or will she too fall prey to the murderer among them? Okay, this sounds awesome. Like, if you're looking for a really fun murder mystery thriller novel for Christmas time,
and I am.
Yes, this is it. So this is the 12 Days of Murder. This is by Adriana Cordani, and it comes out November 7th.
My final book today, let me check and make sure that is correct. Yes, is We Are the Crisis. Ooh. It's part of the Convergent Saga, book number 2 by Cadwell Tumble. Comes out November 7 from Blackstone Publishing. It's the sequel to No Gods, No Monsters. So 3 years after the Monster Massacre, members of Rebecca's old wolf pack have begun to go missing without a trace. The world has undergone many changes in the years since monsters came out of the shadows, and anti-monster group known as the Black Hand has started to organize across the United States. In response, pro-monster organizations have been growing in numbers and militancy. Targeted killings of suspected monsters and their allies, monsters spirited away in the dead of night, and the beginnings of pro-monster legislation are all signs of a cosmic shift on the horizon. Is there any hope for lasting peace? Or are these events just precursors to a devastating monster-human war? Meanwhile, in case there wasn't enough going on, beneath it all, two ancient orders escalate their mysterious conflict, revealing dangerous secrets about the gods and the very origins of magic in the universe. Woo!
Wow.
That's a lot. That is We Are the Crisis by Cadwell Turnbull.
And my final book of today is called White Trash Warlock. I love this name. It comes out November 7th. It's a part of the Adam Binder novels, book 1, and it is by David R. Slayton. Not all magicians go to schools of magic. Adam Binder has the sight. It's a power that runs in his bloodline, the ability to see beyond this world and into another. A realm of magic populated by elves, gnomes, and spirits of every kind. But for much of Adam's life, that power has been a curse, hindering friendships, worrying his backwoods family, and fueling his abusive father's rage. Well, yes, I would hate that too. Years after his brother Bobby had him committed to a psych ward, Adam is ready to come to grips with who he is, to live his life on his terms, to find love, and maybe even use his magic to do some good. Hoping to track down his missing father, Adam follows a trail of cursed artifacts to Denver, only to discover that an ancient and horrifying spirit has taken possession of Bobby's wife.
Eek.
Yep. It isn't long before Adam becomes the spirit's next target. To survive the confrontation, save his sister-in-law, and learn the truth about his father, Adam will have to risk bargaining with his very being, or with this very dangerous being, including his first love, all. So this is White Trash Warlock. This is by David R. Slayton.
And that concludes our adult dark fiction books coming out for November 2023. Be sure to stay tuned for our episodes on dark young adult books, dark kids books, non-fiction, and you never know if we're going to be chatting about tarot cards. Our podcast usually comes out on Wicked Wednesdays, Freaky Fridays, and occasionally on Macabre Mondays.
Wow.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube at Dark Side of the Library if you would like to watch some of our videos as well. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.